Hello, everyone. Finally live. Heckin' loud. One moment. Are we better? No. Lower, 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 lower. And that should be good. I should be sounding much better. And if not, you can always just mark in the comments. Welcome. Welcome to Master Fan Arts Video. To me, Ryan. And I'm here today to do some more pixel arting. It's been a nice night of, just doing stuff. And I'm making a little change today. I'm working on a pixel art stream for Monday. Usually I do my stuff on Wednesdays, but right now I'm kind of in a mood where I really need to get more work done. So, welcome to the stream and everyone who stopped by, and I'm doing pretty well right now. It's a fine Monday afternoon. It's still pretty sunny. Sun's setting up. We'll see some summer light. And things have been pretty good. For those who are new to the art stream, I have a squeaky chair, but I'm Ryan Francis, or Master Fran, as my handle, I suppose. And what you're seeing here is animation, art in animation to be specific. And currently, I'm working on pixel art for a video game called Blackmask. It's a self-platform game about a raccoon treasure hunter going through different islands and countries in fantasy animal world to, seek out a way to get richer and find new treasure and realize the treasures of friends along the way. And that's probably a lot, but it's still in flux. But I'm doing some stuff with that. I'm working together with a programmer, and we've been working on the game for, I'd say, 4 years here. We've got a super sloppy, well, it's not really a demo, but just a bunch of videos kind of just showing off for action. And it's in a Game Boy style, so it's like the old, retro handhelds. And the initial idea was to just have this done pretty quickly, but we've been working on this for 4 years. We're doing our best to just get as much stuff done as possible and have a demo that we can, do a Kickstarter and get on Steam for. Our plan is to, have a PC release and whatever consoles we can get on. Still a whole bunch of research to do. So, follow me, on Twitch, follow me on my social medias, and, type in command Blackmask, and you get a link tree to, all the Blackmask stuff, including, the websites, all the social media stuff, and it's a whole bunch of just different stuff that I do, and, try to get stuff done with that. So that's the gist of what I've been up to. So that's enough, I suppose, shilling for now. So let's just get to work, huh? So what I plan to be working on is getting this bear in a decenter looking state. I've been working on this bear off stream, kind of getting done with this tipping and falling over animation. And this is mainly for if you find a way to damage and stun this bear. Your smaller sword weapons are supposed to be not as effective against this bear, and you're supposed to either run away from him or figure out a way to environment while not getting seen, getting sent flying by his crazy big baseball bat, his Thorn Club, so to speak. And it's a basic basic club attack, but he does have a swinging club attack that if he hits you, you'll probably go flying. And then he's able to just jump attack you, chase you, bada boom. Pretty nice way to kind of just set things up here. And we have a whole bunch of different types of hits. I'm able to take low hits, high hit, able to sniff the ground to seek you out, able to crouch on the ground. Probably gonna just use this as an in-between. Able to search around, hunt for you, and run and chase you. And frame rate's a little slower because I've kind of split the frame rate to constant frame rate is 150 when it probably should be. Honestly, 150 is enough because otherwise I think go crazy fast. Like, you're not really supposed to be this crazy fast, but one thing that kind of like drives me nuts about Ace Bright is that it doesn't have a frame rate for animators. Like, it doesn't have the 24 frames per second. So I have to completely wonder how many frames are in a millisecond. But luckily, as long as I keep my frames in powers of 15, they can go up to 30 FPS or 60 FPS, and the animation will look fine with all their standard FPS values video. And I've done a bit of research into actually doing game animation and kind of like figuring out, okay, I'm an animator, but I'm not necessarily like running the time on a controller. What do I need to do to plan my animations for stuff? And for the most part, you kind of don't have to worry too hard about. You don't have to worry too hard about having, animating for 60 FPS because it'd be freaking more work than necessary. Plus, you'll end up smoothing out so much stuff that ends up making the animations look like mud and actual proper time. Because more frames doesn't necessarily equal better animation. In fact, more frames is more likely going to equal slower animation. Like, a nice rule of thumb when it comes to playing animation is the more frames you add to a movement, the slower it's going to go because it takes more drawings. And likewise, if it's less frames, it's going to look like a faster movement, but of course it's going to look choppier. It mostly depends on movement. If you were doing a walking animation, you would set up your frames so that there's less, you would have more walking frames because the character's moving slower. So I believe in this bear's case, so in the bear's case, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is a 6-frame walk cycle. Looking pretty alright. Run cycle, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same amount. I could reduce this a little less so it can be much faster. But the general gist is that, you're supposed to have a faster movement. And I think a lot of this is mostly in-betweens of these drawings, because the core movement is... basically the running, stride, and characters effectively moving much faster than if they're walking and trudging. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Another thing with game animation is you do need to set it up so it's a certain number. Otherwise, one, you'll break the Game Boy kayfabe, or trying to look like it has the same type of limited as the actual retro consoles. And two, you want to save work because I'm currently a one-man art team doing all the character animations, character design, concept art, backgrounds, tiles, you name it. And I guess arguably the marketing, since you're watching the stream right now, and basically I am doing this stream to kind of just one, show you, hey, I'm actually working on the thing, and B, to work on just cultivating a basic sense of community. People know, hey, this is what I do, this is my art life. If you're ever curious or want to ask a question or want to share a thing that you're working on, that, and kind of just say, hey, you're here and you exist, and you can also share in the game development as I am. So that's kind of just the things I've just been to. Always working on this, figuring out what the hell to do today, and kind of just vibe, do some work, feel remotely productive, and work on what's basically, I'd say, a hobby at this point. I'm currently just working on this game in my spare time, and my programmer's also working on this game in her spare time. We're both work on this in our spare time, and that's kind of just how you gotta do it, because I'm indie dev. I don't have money nor the budget, and I don't really have a studio space to really do this. I'm not a big multi-million-dollar company publisher, so what you see is what you get. I do my best to kind of just get things done. Let's say I want to make sure that I'm self-motivated enough to actually try to get this stuff going. Yesterday, I've been working on just traditional art to take a break. Hey, Shawnee, how's it going? Welcome to the art stream. I'm just chilling right now, working on pixel art stuff, and I guess talking about my day, which was pretty alright, doing general work. It's difficult to do curves in pixel art sometimes because I wanna figuring that out. It's always tough. It's another boss. Oh no, it's the same boss, or at least the same mini boss. It's just basically he's a walking stalker mini boss. So if you played games like Resident Evil, he's basically similar like that, where he's similar to Nemesis, where he's a big, nigh unkillable boss, and it's on you to decide whether or not you want to run away from him or stand and fight and expend your resources. So that's, I guess, the philosophy of what I want to do with this bear character, where I want to establish, hey, Bull's a small little guy. While he can fight smaller enemies like the foxes and weasels, he's going to have a harder time fighting way larger enemies without some strategy. So this bear, he is able to walk around as well, and he can't fit into smaller spaces. And, that's your personal advantage. And right now, I'm kind of like making a death or KO animation. So, you'll be like, okay, I finally beat him. I'm able to get his club. And now you have a little extra weapon for taking the time to fight him. So that's at least a little treat that I want to. It's probably a waste of time because I'd say the priority would probably be just, getting more environment stuff done. But, it's a lot of it is probably just figuring out what's really neat. Up it are. Okay. Sorry about that. I am fairly tired, but usually that's kind of just how I go. So sorry. Do you gray box level design before filling it with environment art? Yes, we do. I could also show you a video actually of what we've been to. This is, I guess, a stream exclusive, though YouTube's going to keep this stream. So I might as well kind of just show you stuff that we've been working on, or at least what Adam's working on, because I send him my assets, and then Adam works on them, and he works on a majority of the level design, gray box, and whatever assets we got. And I try to, see, okay, what's gone, what's all right, what needs work, and what tiles that I've already submitted to just need some readjustments. If only I could find where the heck I stashed footage. Just search it. Okay. Alright, so let me mute the stream for a second while I open this up. That's not it. I think this one's the newest one. I have a whole bunch of ones that aren't here. Alright, so here's a video of what Adam's been up to lately. I don't think this is the newest video, but this is, a little snippet of what he's been doing. So he's got, basically a camera scrolling, and I do need to adjust some stuff in Unity. The one thing that Adam needed that I sort of didn't want to improve, which is putting it in color, which is like, okay, that kind of like throws out the purpose of what appealed it to me in the first place, but I'll let this go. Let's see. This one is another stealth animation where, Adam's like working with the stealth system. And basically it's just all the sprites used for, Cole going into the shadow spells. So, yeah, we're porting the game to NES. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of just one of those things where it's like, Adam's having a tough time seeing the green. Kind of like, all right, fine, I'll let you like put it in color, even though, that absolutely throws out the purpose of what I want this. But it has been a debate, both with me directly with Adam and myself, where it's like, do people actually want this Game Boy art style? Am I kind of just holding things back by keeping it? And that's kind of just one of those things where it's like, this is, I guess, my first art director conundrum, where I am basically making that call of saying, okay, by doing this, I'm establishing the identity of the game. And it's also half the reason why I don't show many screenshots of the current builds, because, that would confuse people with, what people have been seeing the past, probably few years that I've been working on this. So that's kind of like my own personal, I guess, gripe at the moment is, dealing with the color thing. So that's more or less what I've been, what Adam's been up to. He tells me that he's currently working on UI stuff. So, it's mostly a matter of having that done and maybe getting a copy of the build file so I can kind of go into the and readjust any like pixel art tile edits, rework the animation position with weird non-sprite thing where it completely shifts the sprites whenever you're hitting the hitbox with that. But yeah, it's one of those things where, let's see. Oh yeah, and Adam like added water reflections, I suppose, and it's kind of like, yeah, that's cool. That could never run on actual Game Boy hardware, but you know what? Oh, it's there. So, kind of just let that rock for a bit. I don't even know like much that's gonna stick, but I personally would like to just have the I personally would like to just have the builds in hand to kind of just see what works, what doesn't work, how does the level design look. Beach on Lurk, hope you're doing well. Hey, ouch, how's it going? Yeah, things have been pretty good. I've been kind of just showing off what I've been doing, or at least what my program has been working on for I'd say the past few months. I'm currently getting some, bear KO animations done where I'm drawing him, actually going down and dying. Ugh. There's a whole bunch of animations that still need to get done. I think I recently, let's see, recently finished his archery stuff, his special arrows. He's now able to choose triple arrows or probably like more straight with this. Able to do triple arrows. Now he has like a sprite for that and has it in all the different directions. Oh yeah, I don't have the walking arrow anime. Still need to do that. So yeah, it's kind of just a million different things. Plus, I have his general NPC animation, so he's able to talk, laugh about stuff, get pissed off, and point at Cole to kind of just accuse him of stuff or objects to weird accusations. So yeah, have some little emotion things for cut scenes and stuff like that. And I'm still actually also just working on. Oh, this is the animation tutorial. I'm still trying to figure out. Where I'm kind of like making a little example of setting up characters animation. How you would set up your how you would set up your animation frames so you'd be game ready. Just have make sure you count the number of actions, 1, 2, 4, use tags to set things up. Oh, I didn't even know you could zoom in the timeline. Learn something new with a sprite. So yeah, you are able to set up your stuff so you can do animation things. This will be a tutorial for maybe tomorrow. I'll probably like go through the workflow for tomorrow because animation tutorial is still one of those things where it's like, man, how do I do a presentation? But right now I am really behind on this. I just get this done. Or at least get as far as possible into this as possible. So let's turn back on the music and get to working, huh? So yeah, today's been pretty alright. I'd say last stream I've been pretty okay when it comes to I guess drawing and try to just take my mind away from sitting at the screen doing stuff that's, you know, I think I've been burning out a bit on this project specifically, because a lot of times I've been feeling this, I guess, existential dread when it comes, when it comes to figuring out whether or not I'm wasting my time on this. Because I've had occasions where I feel like, okay, I'm working on a video game. Yeah, cool, but it's one game amongst hundreds of fucking games coming out daily. And you're kind of like, all right, I'm working on that, but how on earth is that even gonna matter? It's pretty easy to kind of just feel that sense of why me. I'm not like justified in making a video game any more than anyone else. So it's kind of just one of those things where, you know, I kind of just feel that existential dread of you're not worthy enough to make a video game or some stupid stuff like that. And I'd say that's probably a fast sign that I need to take a break. So that's basically just what I did over the last week. Is I took a longer break, took some time away from just sitting in front of this computer screen, you know, with pixel art and figuring out why. I'll let that rock. Yeah, let's actually like figure out which body parts actually are needed here. Right. Actually, I should probably put the outline. Control Shift O, right? Control. I can never remember the shortcut for Control Shift. I keep telling myself, oh hey, I'll arrange my shortcut keys so I don't have to just use my bottom keyboard. And meanwhile, I can't remember any of my shortcut keys because they're just all over the place. Those jaggies. Well. Oh yeah, got this feeling, you know, kind of dejected and also worried that, you know, the typical, oh, this game might just suck because it's my first game and it's not in the incarnation that I want personally. Like Blackmask originally started out as a webcomic idea, and I still harbor feelings about making a comic. You know, a lot of this keeps welling up whenever I'm working on a storyboard and I feel like, oh, this is not working as a story because I have to work as a video game. I feel a little upset sometimes because, oh, this needs to be a video game. I barely know what the game design is. I barely know if it's going to be fun. I barely know if it's going to be like a press through. So that's a giant go to that. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. At least you have some sort of milestone thing coming up shortly to demo. Yeah. And that's basically the big notable thing is once we have the demo done, I think that'll at least give us a bit of a boost towards, you know, morale or something. It's like, okay, maybe this isn't as pointless as we were thinking. Because, oh, that's interesting. Ah, okay, it's been cut out. All right, this is supposed to overlap, so that needs to go here, and then erase you. Sorry about that. So what was I saying about like? Okay, yeah. So we're currently in the process of just getting the demo, and according to Adam, this year might be our year. That'd be good. We'll have a demo sometime this year, or at least I'll be able to go see a actual proper build for once and just deal with that, figure out, okay, what's what like art problem needs to be solved, because now I'm actually like seeing it in motion. I'll be able to know what the heck needs proper work, as opposed to sort of making animations in a gameplay style that I'm sort of designing in a way where it's like, okay, this is the moves that I do want the characters to do. And I'm doing that with the assumption that the characters can do these actions. So I plan the animations in context of believing that the character will only have two buttons to work with. So just the jump button and the attack button. So my idea is that Cole has the ability to do both the regular button commands for his sword, and then he'll have button commands. So he press up B to access his sub weapons, but also he press forward B to access more moves with his sword, like a forward thrust or something like that. Maybe down B for a counter or use a stealth skill. That down A would be like a another stealth skill, or maybe just the dodge roll. That's my ideas of like what I'm interested in doing with the animations. And animations will adjust to see if it's fun for the game or not. And I'm making peace with the fact that it's possible that I will need to get rid of animations. So I'm trying to just be like that. That's gonna happen. All right. So that's the color. Frame in and widen this some more. That'll work more. So yeah, Sean, I haven't been able to. Well, I think I've seen a few bits of your progress on your game. But if you're ever interested in showing off some stuff, like a link or a video, I'd love to see too. In fact, if you're well, actually, since it's 3D, I probably can't actually help you. So it would give me an excuse to learn, like do a little skill trade if you want. I can help you out, pay it forward. If I just try and do some stuff. Nothing new to show lately. Alrighty, that's all fine. I'd say that's typical of dev now that I'm learning is most game development stuff is kind of slow and plodding. Actually, most creative endeavors are slow, where you're kind of just, I would say, spinning your wheels, but kind of working alone day by day, making small little inch steps towards your goals. And a lot of it is a lot of meticulous planning and figuring out stuff, figuring out whether that works, whether it's not going to work. And you kind of like feel like, oh, this, am I conveying this right? Is this the correct way to, depict weight and impact and make sure that the giant character actually feels giant and intimidating instead of just moving around like every other character. There's a lot of thought that sometimes you think, oh, nobody's actually going to pay attention to that. But I remember there's this, this Plinkett saying from like Red Letter Read, where it's like the audience doesn't notice, but their brain. I'd say that is, that explains it. Where people are going to sense effort. I mean, they're probably not able to articulate specific, probably like they aren't gonna be able to articulate, the actual art mumbo jumbo. I don't think the general public's gonna know what the heck to do with like something like a jaggy or pillow shading and shit like that. Like, no, they're probably just gonna say, "Oh, this kind of looks. The lighting looks kind of weird," and that's all they can really explain. Yeah, because the architecture is getting deep. When it comes to animation, I just throw it into the see if it's bad and revise it later. Seeing it live in gameplay review, actually, yeah, that is true. That is very true. That does make a bigger difference. I think there was also a Jordan Mechner thing where he meant that it's important to see stuff in the engine as soon as possible so you know what you need to fix. And that makes a lot of sense because, yeah, otherwise I just feel like I'm flying blind. I think that's probably just why I'm feeling anxious, is that I feel as if I'm flying blind sometimes. With comics, I don't have to worry about flying blind because I know in a way what I'm drawing is more or less going to be what will be on the page, like thumbnails and stuff like that. And since it's my art style, I don't have to worry about planning for features that may or may not show up, or wondering, is this even fun to navigate, stuff like that. I think I recently saw a I guess a tweet on Twitter with someone kind of just posting about the like accessibility features for some game being able to permanently like play modes without cutscenes and skip out on like longer animations, or the downtime to level design, the downtime to levels, the walk and talk sessions, such like that. And a lot of it's kind of like one of those things where it really depends on the game. Like if it's an RPG, that would really kind of screw with the pacing. But if it was like an action game, because I can see that this is a reaction to things like those you're walking in the corridors and you're walking and talking to a character. It's not really a cutscene, but devs give you that illusion of control because you're still able to walk. So I can see where people are coming from with that, but from my point of view, I kind of just feel like, oh, you actually want an arcade game. You want to play more arcade games, or not blowing so much time grinding for stuff or waiting for experience points. You just want to have your thing now, which makes sense. Most arcade games were built where they actually couldn't even do that. Like you had your power-ups and that was that, and you had to learn how those power-ups worked. So a lot of games these days don't do that, and I sort of miss that. That's one thing that it makes me curious about games like Devil May Cry, where it's like, yeah, emphasize the action and stuff like that, but you unlock moves in Devil May Cry, so it's not like you have all of Dante's moves from the start and you gotta learn how to do the combos yourself. But I'd say in Devil May Cry's case, you have a bunch of, well, not really filler moves, but moves that will contrast your gameplay style. And this, I would need to play more Devil May Cry 1 to understand. I think that probably is expanded more in the newer Devil May Cry game. Yeah. The children yearn for the arcade. And it's sort of true. Like a lot of you don't see many arcade style games. I've seen bits of Helldivers, and that that scratches that itch of a nice straightforward arcadey game where you don't have to think too hard about what you need to do. Fortnite also fills that niche where all you're really doing is like jumping and shooting. and the grind is not as intrusive because you're just grabbing items and that's it. You don't really think about the numbers or think about the stats too hard. You can just power up just straight off of that. And I can understand, why, the need for games like that. I think there's some value in getting people into gameplay ASAP. I was thinking my game will hold open dungeon. You have to navigate towards the exit for any cutscenes and tutorials play, but it will have tutorials, cutscene, tutorial story on cutscenes, etc. Yes, I think one of the early thoughts about Blackmask was it was going to be much more, I guess, more bare bones. Like, I'd say Cole. So when I initially thought about Cole, like as a webcomic character, I didn't truly want to think too much about him as a character. Like, I mostly just want him to be Adventure Raccoon. That was about it. And then he would just be a vector to this wacky road, this wacky world that I keep making up in my sketchbooks. And he would just be the point of view character to meet up with the weirdo animals that I draw. And figuring out, okay, I gotta actually give context to the world with a game and stuff like that is also just one of those things where, okay, I'm doing this game, I should at least make it important. So, it's probably just me, like, feeling, I guess, insecure about whether this would be an interesting, not just world, but kind of just an interesting. No, I wonder if it's an interesting world because it's kind of like most of what I'm doing with this is just me having my giant stable of cringe OC. Kind of like, all right, you're in the big time. Now you gotta convince people why people would give a crap about your cringe OC. Oh, that's kind of just one of those things with that. Man, the body is absolutely messed up here. You gotta get all that stuff there. If I could. Head. Oh yeah, the game design stuff is still, things that I'm kind of like figuring out myself because both Adam and I are sort of in the, I guess, the level design spot where we try to discuss what should be in the level together as much as we can and stuff like that. So that's sort of the plan of what we were doing for it. We're currently in agreement what we'll do right now because currently we're, in fact, I think I have a. Perhaps it's someplace. It's somewhere. Where are you? You're somewhere. Ah, there it is. Oh, it's still. Where's that? Okay. So this is. Oh, it's still blurry. And we'll probably just zoom in. So this is the rough level layout of how level's going to work. And basically, it's going to either start here or start there. I forget like where exactly he starts because Adam kind of like put that together. But basically, Cole's supposed to be able to search for the temple underneath the lakeside for this giant underground lake. The temple's going to be underwater. And then Cole's going to be searching for a switch to open the temple entrance, where he will go inside the temple and deal with the traps and get the treasure with it. Then once he leaves the temple, he will get captured by the bandits, escape, or may just attacked, and we're still figuring out the actual story reasons. Basically, Cole will now be in charge of trying to climb this forest of trees, where at the very top, the boss will be at the top of the trees, and Cole will actually fight him. And then once he's done, he'll have to escape the trees and leave on the boat this area. And that's the rough gist of how the level's going to work. And it's supposed to be a nice vertical slice of all the stuff Cole's able to do. Level design is still in flux, and I think that's what Adams described with what he plans to do with the level design. So far, it's just a matter of actually just getting it playing, figure out what's a tedious part. I'd say right now I feel like the this middle tree part could really use some more platforms, or at least some more interesting level layout. Right now, and this is not the actual proper. I don't think he sent me. I don't think he sent me a bigger version, but it would probably be like, yeah, lake bottom. The lake bottom actually used to be much further. But yeah, but overall, it's like there's a lot of verticality that might get tough, because the general design is that the bear is also going to be at the bottom, and if Cole falls, he'll be attacked by the bear, and all the foxes and weasels will climb on the trees looking for him. And while the verticality is good for getting the buried stuff, I feel like there are kind of a lot of singular routes up. There's not a lot of, from what I'm seeing, there isn't a lot of significant horizontal. Plus, you have this large central area, and I'm kind of feeling like without Cole's ability to actually scale walls, because he used to be able to cling to walls, but then Adam kind of dropped that. So that's kind of just one of those things right now I have to deal with. But I used to be able to scale walls, so I'm kind of trying to imagine the game without Cole's ability to climb on walls. I made a lot of these animations where he's able to climb on walls and ceilings. So right now he's able to jump, hide. I don't remember if he still has a sword or not. I think he mentioned that he's not getting a sword in. We actually need to write this down. We discussed this in the Discord channel, but I need to scroll through. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be figured out with the opera level design. And I have an older Unity build of Blackmask, so it's not the current build. And I actually don't have Unity open right now, so I wouldn't even be able to open Unity right now to kind of just show you the levels that we have, or at least original builds right now. Let's get this going. So far, it's a lot of, actually get in there, test the damn thing, then we remake this bit. Because, at the end of the day, I'm still kind of the art guy. I can make it look pretty, but there's only so much I can really do in terms of the actual, is it fun factor. Obviously, we both have our inputs here, so I'll suggest stuff if something stinks, and I'll try to, we'll just have discussion of whether or not that'll be an interesting gameplay hook. And if it's not fun to, whatever testers that we hand this to, we will adjust. And that's all you can really do, is kind of just work towards getting it. Yeah, is it fun is the hardest question, but it's also the most important question, honestly. Like, if it's not fun, people are just gonna bounce off the game. And fun is also extremely debatable, because what people consider fun is in so many different directions. Like, Death Stranding is probably the biggest example of that question, because the concept of you must be able to balance a whole lot of weight stuff, like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I would think Bennett Foddy would think of that kind of gameplay thing. Kojima thought of that. And, it's kind of just one of those things where that will cause people to just bounce off. In fact, it's kind of funny. I feel like if Death Stranding was a Bennett Foddy game instead of a Kojima game, I think it would be more received well. In fact, like, more streamers would play that, because it has that wacky gameplay scheme of Death Stranding. Death Stranding is kind of quappy. Dead Stranding. Yeah. yeah, exactly. Like, the way that gameplay just rolls, it's very quappy. It's like Quap and Grip and the climbing pot game, where you're a guy in that climbing pot. And there's also another different dev, not Bennett Foddy, who also made a difficult game about climbing, and that was also just in that Bennett Foddy genre of just make the control scheme absurd to challenge someone to actually learn how to master it. And that's kind of just interesting with that, but I know most people aren't really gonna be into that. So everything else is mostly, your own thoughts. Do you think it's fun? Do you think it's going to be interesting to the people that you want to appeal to? Me, I hope that this game will appeal to, people who like platformers and the retro Game Boy game. I like Super Mario Land, I like Metroid 2, so those are just the games that I think of. But I think when I initially made the Blackmask sprites, like Cole's original sprites, I was very influenced by La Mulana, and that's a archaeology game where you're exploring a temple, like a big, large, Metroidvania sprawling temple, and you're figuring out the crazy difficult puzzles in that. And it's pretty interesting to get through because it has Castlevania controls, so you only jump in one direction. And, your whip has a certain amount of, wind up and cool down to it. So, it's a very deliberate game in general. So, La Mulana is pretty interesting once you, get into its vibe. La Mulana 2 is also just as good with that. Yes. I'm not much for streamer torture games, but I do like games that have their own weird-ass control movement scheme, rather than cribbing from something standard. Yeah, that is true. I think one thing that I guess modern games, and I'm gonna be all back in my day or shit, where it's like, okay, modern games used to be, they had their own various control schemes. And, it was just that age where everyone was kind of just experimenting and figuring out what is 3D movement. And, you have a few games that get it right. You have Mario 64 with doing good analog controls. You got Quake with good FPS controls and shaders and camera systems. And, you got, Resident Evil with deciding to tank controls or setting up pre-rendered backgrounds to save resources and not render so much. Stuff like that. And even like Metal Gear, just staying on the Metal Gear stuff. Yeah, the early first-person control schemes. Yeah, a lot of people are crazy nostalgic for GoldenEye, but I feel like a lot of people who are nostalgic for GoldenEye have never played GoldenEye because they would remember those N64 controls with the 2 FPS gameplay. It's kind of like, you don't actually like GoldenEye, because this is what GoldenEye actually is. But no, I joke with that because there's a lot of that era of like PlayStation and 64, and honestly PlayStation 2, really. Like, you're playing a lot of those early games and nothing's really decided. Like, I don't even think twin sticks, like deciding, okay, you should use the right stick to aim and the left stick to. What is the first like twin stick shooter? I can make an argument that like Asteroids is the first twin stick shooter. Let's see. Did Asteroids have a twin stick? I feel like I'm wrong about that. Let's see. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go on Wikipedia. We're going to Wikipedia. Here we go. Twin stick shooter, just on Wikipedia right here. Let's see. Subgenre shoot up game. It's directional using control sticks. Let's see. History. 1979 arcade game called Gunfight. One joystick, second for firing. Alright. So this like rough so this was the rough idea for twin sticks. Yeah. Original arcade Asteroids. I think Asteroids was the first omnidirectional shooter anyway. Made with Space War. Alright, it's probably that. Wait. Multi-directional shooter. Shoot 'em up. Okay. We're just going into the wiki dive hole. We're kind of just going all over the place. Multi-directional shooters. Okay, so Asteroids seems to be the earliest one in this list. So it's like Asteroids, Mad Planets, and Robotron. Robotron seems to be the first. Did it come out before Gunfight? See, released in Japan, 1975. Release in arcade, 1982. So no, Gunfight seems to be the first one. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, we got Space War. Bada boom. Oh wow. Okay, it's actually on like an actual computer screen. That's really cool. 1962. All right. Needle and wedge. Maybe this. Well, actually, no. There's no mouse. I'm seeing like he's using. Looks like buttons. Yeah. Yeah. That looks like buttons, so it's not like actual keyboard and mouse stuff. Of course, I use a trackball. Like ball here. It's easier on my wrist, I'd say. But yeah, let's see. Two monochrome spaceships called the Needle and the Wedge, each controlled by a player. You can shoot one while maneuvering a two-dimensional plane on gravity of a star set against the backdrop of a star. Okay. So I think what they were basically doing was multiplayer Asteroids, or like this predates that Atari tank game, actually. Yeah, because there was like a tank Atari game that was like, fairly popular that this design. I can't remember off the top. Maybe it says it. There's like Distribution legacy. It's a game. Nolan Bushnell. They'll go down there with Nolan Bushnell. Okay, 4-button game. Left, right, thrust, fire. Okay. Alright. Asteroid. Shit. I mean, I'm kind of skimming super hard with this. Like, I should actually just dive into this a little bit more. But I know, in terms of like the gameplay style, I feel like twin stick shooters influenced, things like, first person shooters. I remember reading in Masters of Doom that John Romero played a lot of Asteroid, and I'm pretty sure that influenced how movement and mouse movement worked in Doom. Let's see, Geometry Wars. Yeah, I remember playing a lot of Geometry Wars too. Let's see, Halo Spartan Assault. Okay, what about his first person shooters? I guess let's look up first person shooter twin sticks. Let's see. Really? Halo? Couldn't be Halo. No, this is a Reddit source. No. Yeah, okay. I don't like looking at gaming forums for sources. Maybe it was a description of Wolf 3. Oh wait, I remember Carmack or someone that did describe Quake as Gauntlet. Skeptic or described Doom. That's also true. Yeah, it does have elements of Gauntlet now that I'm thinking about it too. Like, basically Doom is you're going through Gauntlet from a first person perspective. If you've ever played crap, I can't remember. But it's basically Devil Daggers. So it's a game called Devil Daggers where, it's basically a Quake style FPS game. And, you're just shooting daggers and you're just in a circular arena and you're just like firing daggers all over the place to, get a high score, defeat, all the monsters coming at you and stuff like that. But if you look at it from the top down, I think there was also a video that kind of just showed it from the top down. It's basically Geometry Wars. Yeah, exactly. Looked like Geometry Wars in 3D. And, that's basically just the game design. Yeah, it's fascinating just looking through that history of game design, that lens. So I think that's, learning things like that has kept me into, I guess, caring about video games and stuff like that. I've had a short stint where I've kind of just been super indifferent towards video games because, it's been really hard getting into the games industry. You're trying to be an artist in Chicago, and the only real game jobs out here are Mortal Kombat and mobile games. So that's kind of just one of those things where, you kind of gotta pick and choose or try to just move out to California. So that's kind of how the job prospects are in Chicago. I'm sure there's other things. I think Volition. Oh, probably doesn't matter now because I think Volition's closed. And yeah, Volition was also there. They made Saints Row. Maybe they ported Saints Row. I can never remember. Let's see. Robomoto was here. They made the Tony Hawk remakes. Yeah. Volition was an Embracer Group, weren't they? Yeah, then they closed. Yeah, the Embracer Group stuff is bananas, especially since they splintered. Like, they separated into 4 different companies, and I believe they have one company just flat out called Middle Earth Productions or something, where they're just in charge of all the Lord of the Rings. Where I'm like, what other Lord of the Rings can you? I guess because Lord of the Rings is a pretty closed world. Like, I mean, maybe that's kind of like a stupid opinion with like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But I don't feel like there's much further that you can do with Lord of the Rings that much. I mean, I haven't read the Silmarillion. There's probably like a billion different things in, I guess, the Middle Earth world that's probably not tapped into. But I kind of just don't see much in Lord of the Rings itself. And that's probably just me. I probably just don't see much. Like, I've seen the original, or at least the Lord of the Rings trilogy and 2 of the Hobbit movies. Like, I just skipped down the last one. It's funny. I saw 2 of the Hobbit movies where I was like, I really cannot stick with this. And what I actually did was I found a edited version online where fans took like the entire Hobbit trilogy and recut it so it was one movie, and it's more accurate to the book and stuff like that. And I saw that, and that's how I pretty much just saw the last movie. Oh, the third Hobbit flick kind of jumps the shark anyway. Yeah, I figured so. Because the a lot of the Hobbit flicks kind of just felt just heckin' slow and kind of like, all right, I get this is kind of cool and like the Winnie the Pooh style way, but it's kind of like should probably get going sooner rather than later. I don't know. It was not going far at all. So that plus the weird 40 FPS thing that they were doing just didn't work. Like everything, it felt like a it felt like a soap opera, or kind of like, I think there's such a thing as too high definition. Like, it's like those SpongeBob close-ups where you're seeing all the little pores in their skin. I think it's kind of like that, where you're seeing way too much detail. Where it's like, everything kind of just looks so, I don't know, even. Like, it looks just so stilted. Yeah, 48 FPS movie. Yeah, I saw both those movies in that, and I'm kind of like, yeah, this ain't the future, man. Especially when I'm blowing, I think it's now, well, I think if I remember right, it was $15. Because I went to IMAX in, I think, Naperville. I think Naperville, Illinois had the IMAX movies. So I went there, saw it there, and it was kind of with that. And to be fair, I think it was to give it some credit, it was what got me to actually go watch the original Lord of the Rings trilogy proper. So, I borrowed the Lord of the Rings trilogy from my friends, and I watched all 9 hours of I watched all 9 hours of those extended editions. So they were just long. It just produced the whole movie in Unreal Engine so I can watch it real time in the VR if you're gonna break the cinema for that much. That would be interesting. Like, seeing Lord of the Rings are, honestly, I'd love to see a Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings. I know it's absolutely inaccurate. Well, actually, no, it's not terribly inaccurate according to my friend. But it is, the quality could use a lot of work. I mean, there was a lot of rotoscoping the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings, but it was, apparently it was like super accurate to the book. And I haven't really read the book exactly. Like I haven't read it like yeah, I don't think I've read the book itself. I think my mom read the book actually. She told me what it was about. And yeah, I did have all the singing and stuff like that. I should read the books actually, because I have been reading a bunch of different books. I've been reading 6 books in the Wings of Fire series just to get myself back into reading, books with no words. I think I probably talked about this, and it was pretty. It was nice. It's a nice series of books. It's dragons. It's a nice. It's about dragons. They're no humans. Actual talking dragons, and they're trying to stop big dragon war. It's that typical Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff, where you're a bunch of dragons of destiny. You're here to stop the war that's tearing dragons apart, and through the power of friendship they prevail and stuff. I mean, there's more to it than that. It's a nice series of books, and so far I've only into the first, I guess, arc of the entire thing, where it's the initial 6 books, and then there's another. I think in total there's 15 books with the 16th book coming out. So, I'll probably read those later when I get through these other books that are kind of in my home collection. I've actually been reading a book called Eggplant Emoji, and this one's kind of interesting. So, Eggplant Emoji is a book collection, and it's pretty nice. I bought this. I'm gonna assume I bought this from a one of the author cons I went to for other comic conventions, and I was basically, want to just read that, and it's a nice, hilarious collection of just funny stories, and it's this author circle, they put together a book. I bought it to support small authors, and I've been having a blast kind of just reading it. Like the initial book, the initial story, how to paint a sunset, is really funny because it hits me on a personal level, where I'm gonna badly summarize it, where an artist is struggling to paint a sunset on the canvas, and he is eking and agonizing over how to depict that sunset, where it's like, oh, but the oranges, they must depict the burning soul of the sun within all human experience. Or, the sun is actually a bright yellow to depict the bright passion of humanity, and yada yada. It's kind of like the artist is just up his own ass about a lot of stuff. And the ending is basically, oh, the sun's set, it's now nighttime, you blew most of your time. So I've told this story much worse, but yeah, this is a nice collection. I think you can get it from I think they have an Amazon store page. If I when I upload it on YouTube, I'll probably have a link to, I guess, all the books that I've been working with. But yeah, I've been reading that, and I've been trying to just push myself to read more books, because I want to write more. I want to learn how to tell stories better, and the only way to learn how to tell stories better is to read more. So I've been trying to scrape up the time to. So that's what I've been tackling in terms of tackling situations. Let's see. I'm also still reading. I got this library collection of Uncle Scrooge comics. I've kind of just been reading them, enjoying some classic DuckTales, or at least Duck comics in a way. The old Donald Duck comics. So I've been reading that. I've also been reading a comic series called Parker, and this is actually based on a series of novels by what's his name? Basically, it's a comic adaptation of Parker. You know, you're filled with old school like crime fiction novels. That's his name. And you know, it's a comic collection by the artist Darwin Cook, and you know he's really good. I like his art style. He's basically what if Bruce Timm just stuck with comics instead of working on anime. In fact, I think Darwin Cook wasn't in between for that anime, so I could probably have my information correct. Let's see. Other books that I've been reading. Well, nothing else other than I'm addicted to Balatro. You know, I've been playing a lot of Balatro, and it is a really, really good card game. I've never played poker, but every time I see or hear about Balatro, and most of it is seeing a bunch of Northern Lion videos just recommended. He was like, "Oh, I remember Northern Lion. He like did a lot of Binding of Isaac stuff." So I'm seeing him just play games and kind of just riff with his chat, and he's actually just fucking hilarious. It's been so long since I've seen Northern Lion that it's kind of just one of those things. Yeah, I guess he convinced me. Plus, you know, a few more. Like I've been hearing Balatro all over the place. So I figured, okay, I will pick this up because it seems like an easy enough game, and it can fucking run on my computer. That's one of the few games that can actually run on my computer. So I was playing that, and it's pretty good. I just keep getting my ass handed to me because I suck at making combos. Alright, thanks, John. Thanks for stopping by. I do indeed need to stretch. In fact, I need to stand up for a sec. So I'll actually be right back. I will walk around and catch you a little bit. In fact, I think I'll probably just play some Twitch ads while I stand away. So I'll be right back. Hello, I return. Welcome back to the Master Fan Art Stream. I stretched out the bit of a kink in my leg. There's a kink in my knee. This chair kind of sucks to sit in. As I realized I haven't saved, like I'm an idiot. I could have lost work. Let's see, how does this look right now? I don't like that the line moves like this again. I need to rework too. That's what I've been missing here. Let's get back to that. It's kind of funny, to get myself to stretch a little bit more, I did 10 push-ups, and I feel it in my arms, and it just goes to show that I'm just fucking unhealthy. Which probably makes it probably wouldn't hurt to at least try to get myself healthier. And my programmer keeps giving me little scares about his diabetes stuff. Kind of like, oh man, I hope that he doesn't die developing this game. Because yeah, it's kind of like, I wouldn't want his last moments to be wasting my time with my thing. I mean, it's not a waste of time, it's a cool concept. Why am I always like my own biggest hater of my own stuff? I think that's mostly like a self-esteem thing where I'm trying to like, I think the big struggle when it comes to just working on this is getting yourself to a point where, yes, Ryan, you actually like your work instead of constantly dunking on it because you're seeing every tiny little unreasonable flaw. Okay. Goes from 3 to 4 prongs. That's sorry, I'm yawning. What time is it? 8:24. Shoot. Have I even gotten much progress done for this? Really? Not really. But I'm interested in kind of streaming a bit more, and just streaming more of this in general, because I want to kind of just get more stuff done. So I figured, how about I just decide to just stream every day? I'll just try to get myself some work on this a little bit every day, even if it's like a short hour thing. But let's nudge you. There we are. And see if I can't get the 4-prong system. A little dumb, but I can get this working. That'll work. Yeah, I just need to push this up. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of polishing, which kind of probably don't even have to do that, but I do have a lot of line art. Probably could get away with more if I did more of a painterly style. I've seen a few pixel artists able to kind of work a little better because they're able to use the painterly style because they have higher resolution sprites. I actually don't think I could really get away with that specifically, especially for this project, but I think I could probably figure out tiny ways to reduce my workload here. I think what would really solve my issues if I just actually had a proper animation team. Like, have a few people just delegate some of these tasks to. I've recently seen this was by Avenged Dog, and it's basically this chicken girl who does kung fu, and she does deliveries, and she gets into a fight against a fox in order to, because she's fighting here to get out of that 30-minute delivery. So they're getting a cool fight, and it's pretty sick. And I noticed a few friends of mine did some in between for that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can't drop a message to them, and maybe they'll be interested in helping me out. But as I'm kind of like, okay, I probably need to at least do more Kickstarter, get interest out there. That way, I'll at least get either enough funding to pay them properly, or I don't know. I do want to at least pay them because they deserve it. I'm a giant advocate of paying artists, I'd say. So I want to at least make it worth their while. It's just practically all artists are poor. I should probably. Okay. Alright, so this frame's the only frame that actually needs reworking. Okay. I think this is the last of the body frames, if I know right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Things are looking much better. Now it's mostly a matter of just tackling 2, 3. Get rid of you if you're not going to be. Probably should just always make it. Also, I keep hunching. Keep shrimping up. I really should be more. Okay. Luckily, I have a preview window kind of just playing the back here. As I'm working on my next stream, kind of just watching the animation go, so they're a little blobby. Right now, I'm kind of just focused on getting all the lines down before I actually figure out a way to get the fur proper. I think I do need to just get this down to a more 3-spoke thing. Okay, good. Kind of just nudging down, so have a bit more interesting of a curve. All right, readjust this. Just this top hair. Clear you out. And a lot of this is me kind of just pixel pushing. I'd say a majority of pixel art is pixel pushing. You're just moving around pixels to kind of just clean up edges that aren't working. Look to be able to tell that it's a specific body part. Things like that. That's basically a lot of what a lot of pixel art stuff does. Because after you set up your keyframes, and usually the way I set up my keyframes, I will sketch out rough drawings of each little movement, which is why you're seeing hands look more like blobs than really elaborate. Like, I will usually start with a size changer brush. I'll usually start with a size changer brush and I usually just start with a size changer brush where you'll have a variety of different brushes. You're not changing size, are you? Like, what the hell? Yeah, I'll usually start like this and then go to the next. I'll work with a dot. Like this. and do stuff like that. That's basically just how I begin most of my keyframes. I will block in maybe a stick figure and I would turn it. Probably just turn on all the thingamabobber. And I would just do some sloppy roughs like this and then refine them as I get the actual. And I'll probably elaborate on that in my proper pixel art stream. I will explain the roughs of how you can get started just doing pixel animation. Because pixel animation, or at least doing the pixel art stuff, is easier than you think, especially if you've drawn stuff before. Like, if you work with a tablet in any way, you could do pixel art no. There's certain rules with pixel art to make it look convincing, but it's not hard and fast that you absolutely need to follow them to the T. It's just, there are a lot of observations to that pixel art. Okay. Yeah, let's reduce. Probably being a little too perfectionist, right? Let's see. It's a little jiggly. It looks like a little Amoka sky. Let's see. How are we looking? Our body. Okay. All that's really left to do is to tighten the arms and tighten the legs. I think I need to tighten the legs a little. I think a few legs are actually attached to them. Actually, let's see. Off arm. The off arm is mostly there for in case I want to make it bear enemy, and he has a dual thing. Let's see, far legs. Hide all far legs. Just hide all the legs just to see working. See which one's still attached to the body. That is work off of it. No work. So let me here and put it where the leg. Actually. I probably don't even have to do. It'll look. Alright, got all the close legs. Sure thing. You need to be not on. I probably don't know how to do this. Oh. Okay. So I do have just all the legs. I just took it off the body. Okay. Alright. And that means all the far leg stuff is already done. Let's see, close leg. Ah, I see now. Okay. Over. See if I can cut and paste figure X. Copy, paste that. Ah, I'm seeing now. Everything absolutely off that bare leg. I'm mostly doing this because I want to make express sure. I know what I need. Get this off. Put that here. Get that off here. Okie dokie. All that's left to do is polish. All that's left is a loincloth and we have made progress. It's not as fast as I'd like. Feeling now tired. Let's see. I think let's just start by polishing this close leg, eh? Let's see. This'll work. In fact, let's get the belt going. We can cheat a little bit. Close leg. Oops. Okay. Nudge this forward. Then Up. Think I'm making this work, right? So far, so good. Get rid of that. That out. Solid, solid, solid. Technically, this should be a. This should also be color. That'll work. That'll work. Kind of grows. Okay. Tighten that up. That'll work. Okay. So far, so good. Making it rain. Bada bing, bada. I am heckin' tired, but at least things are working. Alright, so I can eliminate because the bottom's going on floor outlines of a lot of the floor tiles are going to have outlines that indicate that they're they're actually interactable. That's my own like personal art direction. I'm sure there are other games that do this. I can't off the top of my head right. Fuck. One of the legs is not correct. Fuck. I'll live with it. Still missing the wraps, but we'll get to it as I go. I think I'll work on the far leg and then just wrap today. I can always come back to this tomorrow, Wednesday proper. I am feeling kind of tired, but I at least have a good tired where I actually got productive done. Excuse me. spike thing. Yeah. This could be a bit more of a bulge. Okay. Let's zoom out and have it on again. All the stuff. So far, so good. All that's left is polishing the legs, then polishing the arms. Should be good. Adding the actual ribs. There are occasions where I kind of regret adding the ribs in, but it is what it is with that. But luckily, the tipping, I could probably refine the hair a little bit. First, a little too floppy. Maybe I can cheat that a little. I don't know. Anyways, I think I'll just wrap the stream for now. I'm feeling tired. But yeah, next stream I am going to continue this. Plus, I'm going to try to do a tiny little beginner, I guess, pro tip tutorial on, working in pixel animation, where I will edit it into a proper video or recurse it and see how it's going to go. That plus more, game development stuff, really. I just work some more into pixel animation and dealing with the fact that I'm a fucking slow ass animator. Oh well. Anywho, thanks for stopping by. Let's see if there's anyone we can raid, and if not, we'll just wrap the stream here. But who is currently playing? A lot of the bot channels, so Twitch plays Pokemon and Rift Tracks. I should probably just unfollow those. They're not really. Anyway, I'll see you all another time. I'm going to try a stream tomorrow, and if I do or do not, I will actually announce it. And I will see you all next time. Have a good night.